All right, hello Capstone students. I just wanted to take an opportunity to walk you through some of the expectations that are set out for your week 3 module, which is largely centered around creating your resume. So as you know, these first 5 weeks, we are navigating through really getting ready to go out into the workforce or transfer on to a four-year institution. And so obviously part of going out into the workforce is that ability to provide a resume that displays some of your accomplishments in the work that you've done. And so I do want to spend some time just setting some expectations here. So a lot of times what students will do is they will just open up like a Word document or like a publisher document with a resume template. And I really want you to spend some time actually viewing what's out there in the week 3 module and what the current trends are when it comes to building a resume. And the reason that I ask you to do this is because those current trends and what's going on with employers and looking at resumes is something that is super important for you to know. Prior to my time working as a full-time faculty member, I worked for about 8 years managing the one-stop student services here at CWI. And inevitably, I would say on a probably like every couple months rotational basis, I would have to post a job and try to find somebody to fill that position. And at the time, I would get 50 plus people applying for a entry level position. And when you're, as a hiring manager, when you're going through resumes and applications, you really are looking for those people that stand out. And one of the ways that you can stand out is through your resume. So you really want to think about what your resume says about you that is a reflection of the job that you're applying for. So I always tell students the first thing you should think about when you're completing your resume or putting together a resume is what is the job that I'm applying for? And so don't put things that aren't applicable to a job. Unless there's a way that you can make that connection. So let's say you're applying for a kennel tech position at a vet clinic. Okay. And in the job description, they say that they're looking for someone who has great communication skills. Okay. So maybe you worked as a cashier at D&B Supply. And in that position, you had to have excellent communication skills. And so that could be a way that you could make that connection to the job. So the very first thing that I want you to think about is what is that job that I want? Right? So as we're looking for these internships, you've started to kind of have those conversations centered around this is where I see myself, right? This is the type of internship I would like to see myself in. And I would like to see you tailor a resume towards a position like that. And so think that through. Maybe go out and look at some job openings and see what they're looking for in those positions, and then start to build a resume like that. I will say in those templates, the very first thing that they show in those templates is this career objective. Again, if you go and look through the materials in the module, we've really started to move away from that. The career objective is not something that an employer or a hiring manager is really looking for. Because really what most of us do is we just say, my career objective is really to have the job that you're seeking, right? And so it doesn't help the hiring manager in that way. So what I'm doing here is I'm sharing with you my most recent resume. And you can see here the look is very different than what you would see on that publisher template or that Microsoft Word template. You don't have to use color if you don't want to. You don't have to do those sorts of things, but really just think through how can I tell a story that's not in my cover letter, that's not in the application for the job that I'm applying for, that still shows this employer that I have the skills necessary for the job that they're looking for. So here you can see I've kind of like highlighted some skills, and then I've reinforced those things within my experience. So you really want to think through, like, again, how do I tell that story, right? And so I've tried to keep my experiences over here on the right-hand side. I've obviously listed some things over on the left-hand side that are largely centered towards various accomplishments that I might have. I talk about the courses that I've taught and any professional organizations that I've been a part of. And then the very last thing that I highlight is my education. And then at the very bottom of my resume, I've got this extra little thing down here at the bottom for ways in which this employer could connect with me outside of my resume. So maybe they want to go read my student evaluations. Maybe they want to go view me on LinkedIn and see who's following me and what people are saying about me, those sorts of things. So this is something that I've added at the bottom as, you know, I'm not going to insert my student evaluations into my resume, but here's a way in which you could go view those in case you are curious what students are saying about me as an instructor. The other thing that I will say, the final piece, is you should really try to keep your resume to a page. You don't need to list your references on a resume. You don't need to list the career objective. You really want to figure out, like, how can I get all of this content onto one page? Again, because as a hiring manager, especially for an entry-level position, I'm going through 50 plus applications. I'm not going to spend the time going through a 2, 3, 4, 5-page resume, right? And quite honestly, as a hiring manager, if I have to do that, it turns me off. And I usually put that in the pile where it's like, yeah, I'm not interested. Because I can't quickly see the information that I need in order to make that determination of whether or not I will bring you in for an interview. So please make sure that you spend some time looking at the module. Make sure that you spend some time viewing the materials out there related to resume trends from LinkedIn and just some other sources out there that explain to you really the changing climate for resumes. Keep it to a page. Talk to me, like, frame it under that lens of this is the job that I would like to apply for. So if I was going to go solicit West Valley for an internship, I could hand them this 1-page resume and say, here's what I bring as a student at CWI, and here's why I'm interested in spending some time with you over the next 10 or 11 weeks. So it gives you something that you can use. If you have questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm still working through grading your professional philosophies and just navigating through your Capstone forum because I do want to provide some feedback there. So be on the lookout for that in the next couple days. Other than that, I hope you're having a great week, and just reach out if you do have any questions, comments, or concerns. We'll see you later.